What's up, Steelers Nation? Today, we dive into one of the most compelling storylines unfolding just days before the NFL draft. We're now officially 10 days out from the first round in Green Bay, and yet one of the team's biggest questions remains completely unanswered. A veteran, potentially crucial to the franchise's short-term future, still hasn't made a decision. And with every day that passes, the possibility of him returning feels just a bit more distant. Whether he suits up in black and gold this fall might depend entirely on what the front office does on draft night. Here's the reality. Unless something changes fast, unless the Steelers push for clarity before the draft, we may not have an answer until after the team makes its first pick. That means General Manager Omar Khan and head coach Mike Tomlin are preparing for the unexpected. Steelers fans, brace yourselves. This situation might not be resolved this week, or even before the draft. It's more likely we get answers closer to the big event, or even a few days after. And that delay is casting a shadow over every draft strategy meeting happening in Pittsburgh right now. Now, why the holdup? One possible explanation is that the player simply wants more information. He may not be ready to commit because he doesn't yet know what the 2025 Steelers will look like. That information is coming, of course, but only when the team makes its selections in this year's draft. And that means this off-season drama might drag on for a while longer. It's also possible that he's watching closely to see whether the Steelers prioritize winning now, or if they plan to hit the reset button. That's where things get interesting. There's been chatter about potential moves, including the possibility of trading a star receiver like George Pickens. If the team is seriously exploring that route, it could affect everything. A veteran might be hesitant to commit if the roster around him is falling apart. Imagine looking forward to playing alongside an exciting, young playmaker, only to find out he's been shipped out for draft capital. That kind of uncertainty can be a deal-breaker for a player looking to make one final run. And then there's the quarterback question. If the Steelers use their first-round pick on a quarterback, that could send a strong signal about where this team is heading and who they're planning for. For a veteran evaluating his next step, that could be a red flag, especially if he's considering a short-term deal and expecting to start. Nobody wants to sign on and then watch their team use a top pick on their eventual replacement. It's not just about ego, it's about opportunity, about trusting that the organization is investing in winning while you're still in uniform. Think back to what happened last year. A player signed a multi-year deal only for his team to draft a quarterback in round one. That rookie didn't perform as expected, and now the original quarterback is stuck. The team won't trade him, and he's left in limbo, knowing the franchise already moved on. That situation may be fresh in the minds of several veterans, especially those weighing offers from teams like the Steelers. So maybe there's already an informal agreement in place, something along the lines of, if you don't draft a quarterback in round one, I'm in. That would give the team a level of reassurance while giving the player some control over his fate. But until that pick is made, everything remains speculation. For fans hoping he returns, the most optimistic view is that he's just doing his homework. He wants to fully understand the 2025 roster before committing. That's reasonable. But let's be real, he won't have the luxury of waiting a month or two. He'll have a few days after the draft, maybe a week at most. If there's no answer by the end of the month, the Steelers will need to move on. And here's another wrinkle. Word is, he reached out to a different team during free agency. He expressed interest in joining them, but they passed. That could mean he's still hoping for something to happen. Maybe an injury setback, maybe a disappointing spring from one of their current quarterbacks. In other words, he might still be watching from the sidelines, hoping a door opens elsewhere. Around the league, teams are constantly evaluating their depth charts, especially during off-season training. If one of those situations turns sour, a player like this could quickly become a hot commodity. At the same time, there are teams dealing with ongoing issues at quarterback, roster battles, medical concerns, or locker room uncertainty. It only takes one twist of fate to spark trade discussions or reopen negotiations. And maybe that's exactly what he's waiting for. But let's bring it back to the Steelers, because regardless of what's going on behind the scenes, this situation is already reshaping their draft board. If they don't know by the first round whether he's coming back, they've got to prepare for the worst. And That could mean selecting a quarterback on day one. Now, to be clear, the current backup on the roster is respected, but he's not viewed as a legitimate short-term solution. He's not the guy to lead this team to the postseason, and he's certainly not seen as the long-term answer. So, if the veteran is out of the picture, Pittsburgh almost has to use that first-round pick on a quarterback. Otherwise, they're taking a huge risk with a position that no contender can afford to leave unsettled. If, however, the veteran does decide to come back, that opens up more flexibility. In that case, the Steelers could wait until the middle rounds, maybe the third, fourth, or even fifth, to grab a developmental quarterback. There are a few prospects projected to go around those rounds who could make sense. They wouldn't be expected to start right away, but they could learn behind an experienced starter and be groomed for the future. Some names have been repeatedly linked to the Steelers. A standout from Colorado, a mobile, aggressive talent out of Old Mississippi, a polished thrower from Alabama, and a dual-threat quarterback from Louisville. Each brings a different skill set and different levels of readiness, but all four have been mentioned in connection with Pittsburgh's first-round pick. And that's where the evaluation gets tricky. Let's say the veteran is on the roster. If the Steelers spend their first-rounder on a quarterback who's clearly not ready to play, that could lead to some frustration. A player trying to win now wants weapons, protection, and playmakers, not his future replacement sitting behind him. But on the flip side, if the team does secure the veteran and they're confident in their short-term outlook, drafting a quarterback later could be the perfect move. Imagine selecting a raw but talented quarterback in the third round. That guy wouldn't have to play right away. He could learn, develop, and eventually take over when the veteran walks away. It's a win-win situation. The rookie gets the benefit of time and mentorship. The team avoids quarterback instability, and the veteran finishes his career with a real shot at winning. But if the veteran decides not to return, or if the team still doesn't have a definitive answer by the time they're on the clock, then it's hard to imagine the Steelers passing on a quarterback in the first round. That's just the reality of the NFL. You can't move forward without stability at that position, and the longer the team waits, the more pressure builds. Missing out on the top-tier quarterbacks in this class because you were holding out hope? That's a gamble no front office wants to take. And this year's quarterback class has options, different types of quarterbacks that offer very different paths forward. Now, let's talk about those four main names linked to the Steelers. At number 4 on the internal rankings, based on everything we've gathered, is the quarterback from Louisville. There's talent, no doubt about it, but he's not ready to play right now. That's the big concern. He's a developmental player who could need a year, or maybe even 2, before he's ready to lead an NFL offense. He's got a strong arm, good mobility, but he's raw. He'd benefit immensely from learning behind a veteran who knows the game inside and out. So if the Steelers do have that veteran under contract, especially on a short-term deal, this prospect could make a ton of sense in the third round. It's low risk, high upside. He wouldn't need to start immediately, and the team could groom him to take over once the veteran steps away. But selecting him in the first round? That would be a reach. It wouldn't align with the current state of the team, especially if the Steelers are still aiming to contend this season. You need a player who can make an impact sooner rather than later. Coming in at number 3, the quarterback from Old Mississippi. He's aggressive, athletic, and has a bit of that gunslinger mentality. He's shown flashes of brilliance and can extend plays, which is a big asset in today's league. But he also comes with risk, turnover issues, inconsistency, sometimes struggles with decision-making under pressure. That said, his ceiling is high, maybe even higher than some of the safer picks in this class. The question is, do the Steelers want to roll the dice? This guy could go anywhere from the late first to early second round. If the Steelers trade back, he could be in play. But again, it depends on the veteran. If he's not coming back, the team might not have the luxury of drafting a player who needs time to settle in. They might need someone more pro-ready. And that brings us to number 2 on the list, the quarterback from Alabama. This kid has poise. He's polished. He's been in big games. He doesn't have the biggest arm in the class, but he makes smart decisions, gets the ball out quickly, and plays with a calm that you just can't teach. Some scouts believe he's one of the safest picks among the second-tier quarterbacks. Not flashy, but steady. A guy who could be your starter in year 1 if needed. Now, whether or not that's the best long-term plan, that's debatable. But if you need a starter, someone to keep the offense moving. This is a guy worth serious consideration. Finally, the number one quarterback on the Steelers' radar, at least based on current projections, is the standout from Colorado. He's got the tools: arm strength, accuracy, athleticism. He can throw from the pocket, but he can also extend plays with his legs. He's a true modern quarterback. Still, there are concerns about mechanics and discipline under pressure. He can get careless, but the upside? It's undeniable. He could become a franchise guy if developed properly. If the Steelers go quarterback in round one, this is the type of player who might make it worth the investment, especially if they're ready to commit to building around him for the next several years. It would represent a shift, a new era in Pittsburgh. No more short-term patchwork at the most important position in football. Now, what does all of this mean for the rest of the roster? Because the truth is, the Steelers don't just have to solve the quarterback puzzle. They need help in other areas too. Offensive line, defensive backfield, maybe even wide receiver, especially if rumors about George Pickens being on the trade block prove true. The draft is a chance to reload, not just at quarterback, but across the board. That's why clarity from the veteran is so important. If he commits before draft night, it opens up flexibility. Maybe the Steelers take a dominant offensive lineman in round one. Maybe they trade down and collect more picks. Maybe they use that pick to grab a corner who can start from day one. All of that becomes possible if the quarterback position is locked in. But right now, it's all up in the air, and that uncertainty changes everything. So Steelers Nation, now it's your turn. Drop your predictions in the comments. Do you think the veteran returns? Should the team draft a quarterback in round one, or wait it out and trust the process? Whatever happens, one thing is certain. The decisions made over the next 2 weeks will shape the future of this franchise for years to come. And with that, we wrap up part one of this draft countdown journey. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into potential day 2 targets, including offensive linemen, wide receivers, and sleeper quarterback prospect the Steelers could develop behind the scenes. This draft is going to be a turning point. One way or another, a new chapter is about to begin in Pittsburgh. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a stunning twist that has sent shockwaves through NFL circles, the Pittsburgh Steelers are reportedly eyeing a blockbuster trade with the Dallas Cowboys that could reshape the future of their offensive line. The name on everyone's lips? Cooper Beebe, the rising star, currently protecting Dak Prescott's blind side, has caught the attention of Pittsburgh's front office, who are looking to bolster their line with the addition of one of the most talented centers to emerge in recent years. As rumors swirl, fans and analysts alike are speculating what this move would mean for both franchises. Could Beebe's prowess on the field be just what the Steelers need to elevate their offense? Cooper Beebe's meteoric rise has been nothing short of remarkable. After a standout career at Kansas State, where he was named a unanimous All-American in 2023 and a finalist for the prestigious Outland Trophy, the 24-year-old center has made an immediate impact in the NFL. His agility, leadership, and ability to dominate in the trenches have earned him a reputation as one of the most promising young offensive linemen in the league. Despite playing for the Cowboys, a team with one of the league's best offensive lines, Beebe has continually shown that he has the potential to become the cornerstone of any franchise he plays for. The Steelers' interest in Beebe signals a potential shift in their offensive strategy as they look to solidify their protection for quarterback Kenny Pickett. After years of making do with a patchwork offensive line, Pittsburgh is now eager to invest in a proven talent like Beebe, who could be a long-term fixture in their lineup. With the Cowboys reportedly listening to offers, it's unclear what the Steelers would need to give up in return. But if this trade comes to fruition, it could be the beginning of a new chapter for Pittsburgh's offense and a serious boost to their playoff aspirations. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.